Guys, for module 4 and 5 of our discussion, the teaching profession. Here are the objectives for the 4th week. Discuss the preamble and Article 1 of the Code of Ethics for Teachers in the Philippines and explain how professional teachers should relate to the state, community, and parent and all education. This is based on the resolution number 435 of 1997. Let's start the question. Do you think yung mga rules ba or mga code of ethics is a burden to the teachers? Kung kayo ba, if ever na maging future teacher kayo, mahirap ba na habang nagtuturo ka, iniisip mo talaga na ang ginagawa mo ay tama ba or mali? Based on the past discussion, do you think you're a good teacher or an effective teacher na nag-follow ka ng rules and regulation? So, alaman natin yan. The preamble, teachers are duly licensed professionals who possess dignity and reputation with high moral values as well as technical and professional competence in the practice and on their noble profession, and they strictly adhere to, observe, and practice this set of ethical and moral principles, standards, and values. I know na may experiences na kayo na nakikita from your teachers or even dun sa mga kakilala mo or kahit naman sa social media, sa TV, diba? Kitang-kita natin kung ano talaga yung demand ng society in terms of being a teachers. There are lots of values. May dapat pag teacher ka, may dignidad ka, yung reputasyon mo, dapat mong pangalagaan. Kasi you are part of the community and you serve as a role model. Here are the articles for the Code of Ethics, guys. There are 13 articles. So, unti-unti natin silang babasahin kung ano na yung mga Code of Ethics. As long as you're familiar with it, at dapat tandaan mo siya by heart. Kasi, being a teacher, it's not always about memorizing the facts naman of the rules, but it's about you. Kung you're teaching by heart or you are doing it as a vocation, as a calling, not just a mission or as a profession. Kasi minsan, pag mahal mo talaga yung trabaho mo, diba? It's easy for you to follow the rules. Kasi alam mo na pag teacher, dapat ganito, dapat pasensyoso, dapat inaalagaan talaga yung reputasyon. Let's start with the first article for the scope and limitation. This code shall apply to all the teachers in schools in the Philippines. Section 2 covers all the public and private school teachers in all educational institutions at the preschool, the primary, elementary, and secondary levels, whether academic, vocational, special, technical, or non-formal. Teacher, industrial, arts, or vocational teachers, and all other persons performing supervisory or administrative functions in all school, whether on full-time or part-time basis. Tandaan natin na dito sa Code of Ethics na to, ang kino-cover lang ay both yung public tsaka private sa preschool hanggang sa secondary level lang. And even dito, guys, kasali yung nasa supervisory or administrative functions in schools like the principals or yung mga supervisor na hindi naman totally nagtuturo as long as meron silang license, okay? The teacher and the state. The schools are the nurseries of the future citizens of the state. Each teacher is a trustee of the cultural and educational heritage of the nation and is under obligation to transmit to learners such heritage as well as to elevate national morality, promote national pride, cultivate love of country, instill allegiance to the Constitution and for all duly constituted authorities, and promote obedience to the law of the state. Kaya, isa talaga sa demand ng teacher is one na yung observing love of the country. Dapat pinapakita mo yung obligasyon mo na i-motivate mo yung mga estudyante na mahalin yung sarili niyong bansa and promote sa obedience in terms sa law. Kaya di ba pag during the flag ceremony, when you remember during preschools or kahit elementary hanggang sa high school, di ba? Teachers are there to guide you kung ano ba talaga yung tamang pagkanta or tuturuan kanila yung lyrics ng Lupang Hinirang, ano yung dapat gawin pag nagpa-flag on how to show respect. Isa yun sa dapat ginagawa, obligasyon ng teacher para sa bansa. And every teacher or school official shall actively help carry out the declared policies of the state and shall take an oath to this effect. Kaya pag merong batas sa Pilipinas at ito'y naging effective na, ikaw as a teacher, hindi ka dapat magpakita sa public or sa state na, ay, wag niyong sundin yung batas na yan kasi hindi naman karapat-dapat. You as a teacher, it's part of your obligation na i-carry out yung declared na policies. Dapat ikaw mismo yung nagmo-motivate or you are the one persuading the other people or yung state na sundin yung batas na yon. Hindi dapat ikaw nangunguna na hindi sundin ang isang batas. And of course, in the interest of the state and of the Filipino people as much as of its own, every teacher shall be physically, mentally, and morally fit. Kaya may mga sa medical, once na mag-apply kayo sa ibang school, lalo na sa public schools, they have this neuro exam. Doon sa neuro na yon, they were checking if you are mentally or morally fit, kung kaya mo ba talaga magturo. And of course, may medical then to check if you are physically fit. And every teacher shall possess and actualize a full commitment and devotion to duty. Kaya as much as possible, if you become a teacher, alam mo yun, parang vocation na siya na dapat yung buhay mo ilalaan mo sa pagtuturo. Although there are things that might happen, alam mo yung tipong dapat fully committed ka. Parang asawa mo na yung pagtuturo. So, sobrang dami nga naman ginagawa ang duties of the teacher. Kaya most of the time, sinasabi nila or they advise na bago ka daw magturo, dapat may jowa ka na. Kasi, sometimes teachers forget na yung, alam mo yun, pakikipagrelasyon. Kasi, they give their life fully sa teaching. Lalo na yung napamahal or nagiging passion na nila yung teaching. But it doesn't mean naman na kung tunay na mahal mo ang pagtuturo ay di ka na pwede makipag-relationship or to enter yung married na vocation. Of course, nasa inyo yan. As long as nagagampanan mo yung obligasyon mo. And a teacher shall not engage in the promotion of any political, religious, or other partisan interest, and shall not directly or indirectly solicit, require, collect, or receive any money or service or other valuable materials from any person or entity for such purposes. Kung napapansin nyo, wala talagang teacher na nagsasabi or nagpo-promote, oy, iboto nyo to si ganto ganyan. Ito yung president na dapat, kasi magaling, ganto ganyan. You should not engage on it pag naging teacher na kayo, ha? At hindi kayo nagpapabayad ng mga politicians para doon kayo papadbor. Kaya kung napapansin nyo sa pag may mga eleksyon, the teachers are there kasi sila talaga yun na may demand sa kanila. And we know na expectation ng teacher na sila yung they have moral values, at alam namin na pag teacher talaga, hindi talaga sila nagsisinungaling at hindi sila kayang bayaran ng kahit sino man para lang gawin yung kamalian. Section 6, every teacher shall vote and shall exercise all other constitutional rights and responsibility. Kaya dapat talaga nag-vote in teacher kasi isa to sa mga rights. And you should be a role model nga naman, di ba, sa community. And a teacher shall not use his position or official authority or influence to coerce any other person to follow any political course of action. So, the same thing lang dun sa kanina na section 5, dapat hindi porket may position ka or alam mo na mas mataas ka sa iba, ay pwede ka nang mamilit or mag-coerce ng ibang tao na dun sa mababa pa sa'yo, or like parents of your students, sasabihin mo na, ito, iboto mo to, or else there's something that will happen to the grades of your students, that might, but of course, that's impossible to happen kasi nga, pag teachers, you are there to support the community. And every teacher shall enjoy academic freedom and shall have a privilege of expounding the product of his researches and investigations, provided that if the results are inimical to the declared policies of the state, they shall be brought to the proper authorities for appropriate remedial action. Ano ba talaga pag sinabing academic freedom? So, what is it all about? So according sa Supreme Court of the US, they said that academic freedom means a university can determine for itself on academic grounds. Normally, pag sa academic freedom, ginagamit siya sa tertiary or sa college na wherein teachers have the academic freedom kung sino magtuturo, kung ano dapat ituturo, at kung ano yung mga subject or topic na dapat ituro, or who may be admitted to the study. Yun yung sinasabi na academic freedom. So, bawal mo silang pagbawalan kung ano man yung gusto nilang ituro or ano yung gusto nila, kung sino yung magtuturo sa subject na yon. Let's talk about the third article, the teacher and the community. For section 1, the teacher is a facilitator of learning and of the development of the youth. So, why is it that teacher is a facilitator of learning? Ibig sabihin, pag facilitator, you serve as a guide. Kaya pag ikaw teacher ngayong 21st century learners, sa mga kabataan ngayon, or kung kayo, you will become a future teacher, you will serve as facilitator of learning, or kayo yung mas pinapadali nyo yung buhay ng mga estudyante. And then, render the best service by providing an environment conducive to such learning and growth. O, diba? Render the best service. Kung lalo na sa if you'll be a part of DepEd, talaga there are lots of demands na dapat ibigay natin dun sa mga estudyante. Kasi students nowadays ay iba-iba sila ng ways of learning. Meron sa kanila na mas natututo once they watch. Minsan, through audio, yung mga audio learners, mas natututo sila pag may naririnig sila. Or those students na mas natututo lang sila pag babasahin talaga nila by detailed. And then, for section 2, shall provide leadership and initiative to actively participate in community movements for moral, social, educational, economic, and civic betterment. Ayun, pag sa community talaga, most of the time, yung mga sa barangay, they ask for assistance from the teachers kasi sila talaga yung nagbibigay ng guide or ganun kalakas yung leadership na meron ang isang teacher, and shall merit reasonable social recognition, shall behave with honor and dignity at all times. Ayun guys, pag teacher, you shall behave with honor and dignity at all times. So, hindi lang talaga sa school, even outside the school. Kasi, the expectations and demands ng society para sa isang teacher. But it doesn't mean naman talaga na lahat ay bawal. Okay? And shall merit reasonable social recognition, shall behave with honor, and then refrain from such activities such as gambling. Yun, hanggat maaari ay iwasan talaga natin yung pagsusugal, lalo na pag tayo ay lisensyado na in the future. Section 4, shall live for and with the community, shall study and understand local customs and traditions in order to have sympathetic attitude and refrain from disparaging the community. Ayun, we have to understand the local customs tsaka yung mga traditions na meron ang isang lugar or sa community natin. Kasi dapat tayo yung may sympathetic attitude. Sabi nga, di ba, sa mga unang materials that you have, isa talaga sa attitude or skill na meron ang isang teacher ay ang pagiging sympathetic or empathetic, diba? Dapat marunong kang makisama dun sa mga tao, lalo na nandun sa komunidad nyo. Kung yun talaga yung tradisyon nyo, Dahil ikaw, as a supporter or as a leader of the community, you're the one who will lead them. Okay? And for section 6 is intellectual leader in the community. The section 5 shall help the school keep the people in the community informed about the schoolwork and accomplishments as well as its needs and problems. On the later part sa mga next na subjects nyo, makikita din natin na gaano ka halaga na ang school ay merong linkage or they're working with the community. Kasi we are part of the part tayo ng sa isang lugar kung saan dapat nagtutulungan tayo. Not just in the community but also in the school. Kasi ang school naman ay parte din, di ba, ng community. Lalo na nandun yung mga estudyante na nag-aaral. And for section 6 is intellectual leader in the community shall welcome the opportunity to provide such leadership when needed, extend counseling services as appropriate, and to actively be involved in matters of affecting the welfare of the people. Dito sa pagiging intellectual leader sa community, but in this part, dito sa pag-extend ng counseling services, it doesn't mean na malalim na counseling service yung pwede nating ibigay. Kasi, providing counseling, you need to be an expert doon sa field na yon at kailangan mong master yung mga techniques and strategies kasi of course, we have our guidance counselors na to provide that type of service. Sila yung mas maalam dun sa bagay na yon. And we have this section 7, every harmonious and official relations with other professionals, with government officials, and with the people individually or collectively. Ayun, dapat meron tayong harmonious relationship with other professionals. So, therefore, we need to respect the other professions kasi nga, ganun kataas, ganun ka noble profession yung pagiging isang guro. Kasi there would be no lawyers, there would be no doctors at all without a teacher, diba? And of course, for section 8, a teacher possesses freedom to attend church and worships as appropriate, but shall not use his positions and influence to include others. Ibig sabihin nito, kung dahil di ba pag sa education talaga, respect yung sa gender or even sa religions of others. So dito, you as a teacher, you have the freedom naman to choose kung anong religion na gusto mong salihan or kung ano man yung traditions na meron yung isang sa religion na sinasalihan mo. But hindi ibig sabihin nun na pwede mong gamitin yung position mo as a teacher. For example, you are Protestant or Catholic ka, tapos yung mga estudyante mo ay iba yung paniniwala. Hindi mo sila pwedeng sabihin na, or dito kayo sa sumali na kayo sa Catholic church kasi ganito ganyan. Or sumali na kayo dito sa iglesia or whatever churches na included ka. So, that's unethical. Okay? Dapat you have to let those students choose what they want. Hindi mo dapat sila ini-encourage on what religion to choose. Lalo na pag ginagamit mo yung position mo as a teacher. And for Article 4, Section 1, every teacher shall actively ensure that teaching is the noblest profession and shall manifest genuine enthusiasm and pride in teaching as a noble calling. Of course, di ba? Pag sa pag-aaral nyo nga pala ngayon, first year pa kayo, pero you are here to learn kung gaano talaga ka-noble yung teaching profession. It's not actually about the rules and responsibilities na meron or dapat gawin ng isang teacher, but it's about how fulfilling it is kung makita mo yung mga estudyante mo when they become successful for the next few years. Then, kasi ang education talaga is the most, makikita mo yung very productive. Di mo malalaman na, for example, yung mga estudyante na tinuruan mo ng high school or ng elementary, after how many years? Di ba, kakamustahin ka na lang, oy ma'am, kamusta na po kayo? I'm a lawyer already, I'm a doctor. Alam mo yun, ganun ka noble yung profession ng isang teacher, ng isang teaching profession. And every teacher shall uphold the highest possible standards of quality education, shall make the best preparations for the career of teaching, and shall be at his best at all times and in the practice of his profession. Ayun, dapat talaga maging effective ka as a teacher so that mas maraming matutunan yung mga students mo, and you serve as a facilitator of learning. Lalo na ngayon na, you know what, nowadays, lalo na sa mga 21st century learners, marami talaga sa kanila na mas magagaling pa talaga sa teacher. Kasi, alam niyo kung bakit. They have all the access to the internet. Google can provide them the informations that they needed, diba? Alam mo yun, nandun na lahat. Nasa internet na lang. Ita-type na lang nila to search for the answer. That's why, pag teacher, you are there to facilitate their learning para alam nila kung anong dapat nila i-focus or anong dapat nila na kailangan ma-master na talaga nila. And Section 3, every teacher shall participate in the continuing professional education or CPE program of the Professional Regulation Commission, and shall pursue such other studies as will improve his efficiency, enhance the prestige of the profession, and strengthen his competence, virtues, and productivity in order to be nationally and internationally competitive. O, diba? Ang galing. You are not just competitive dito sa bansa natin, but also nationally, internationally, and globally competitive. Pag-aralan din natin yan in the next chapters kung paano ba talaga magiging globally competitive. So, ganun kataas ang standard ng isang teacher. But you know what, guys? As long, honestly, it's not just about how competitive you are. As long as you have that attitude, tapos you are teaching from the heart, alam mo yung gustong-gusto mo talaga, it's teaching is your passion. You can be competitive anytime you want. Kasi mostly naman sa mga nabibigyan na awards talaga na teachers nationally or even internationally ay yung mga teacher who made a difference for the students. They might not be that very intelligent, but they are there to support and inspire the students that could really make a difference. And maybe, lalo na ngayon na first year pa lang kayo, it doesn't mean naman na kailangan magaling na kayo as a future teacher. No, of course not. It's for you to see kung gaano kahalaga talaga na ang isang teacher. Honestly, being a teacher is not really my first na gusto when I was in college or kahit nung high school pa ako. Parang hindi ko naman imagine kasi I was that kind of introvert, yung mahiyain talaga. But of course, after a nick of time naman, nung nag-college, I was able to I found love teaching. Even nung graduate na ako, I thought na hindi ako sa pagtuturo. But then, when I saw so much improvement sa students, lalo na yung mapapamahal ka sa estudyante mo, and you see a big difference, how you change your lives, that you inspire them. Alam mo yun, it's a seed of hope na tutubo talaga siya hanggang sa magiging productive. So maybe this time, habang nag-aaral pa kayo ng teaching profession sa subject na to or first year pa lang kayo, you're starting to plant that seed in your heart. And of course, pag maging sa second sem or even may second year kayo, alam mo yun, unti-unti siyang nag-grow. And without you knowing na mas nagugustuhan mo na palang pagtuturo, lalo na pag nandun ka na talaga sa field wherein you could see your students. For Article 4, the teacher and the profession, every teacher shall help if duly authorized to seek support from the school, but shall not make improper misrepresentations through personal advertisements and other questionable means. Ganon ka noble yung profession ng isang teacher wherein, alam mo yun, ikaw yung nag-represent as a teacher, you're representing also the school. Kaya pag may issue sa school, diba, or may issue sa isang teacher na nababalita sa TV or napatulfo, diba, questionable din yung school. That's why natatanong or kasama sa interview yung mga principals or even other teachers. So that's why you have to be careful na hindi may misinterpret yung school na yon just because of your mga kapabayaan or mga maling ginawa. And section 5, every teacher shall use the teaching profession in a manner that makes it dignified means for earning a decent living. Ayun, dapat nagtuturo ka talaga na in a way na decente talaga and mataas yung standard na kailangan mong gampanan as a teacher. Hindi yung naging teacher ka lang kasi yumayaman. Kasi honestly, sinasabi nila dati wala talagang yumayaman sa pagiging teacher. But I disagree with that type of saying. Kasi, alam nyo, walang yumayaman in terms of financial siguro, but yung mayaman yung teacher talaga through the student's success. And then, pag nakita mo yung mga estudyante mo when they are very thankful na naging part ka ng changes na meron sila in life. The teacher and the teaching community, professional locality, mutual confidence and faith in one another, self-sacrifice for the common good, and full cooperation with colleagues and support one another. Ayun, pag teacher talaga, you are supporting each other. You are not there na para, ano mo yung, magkukumpetensya kayo, or somewhat like you are seeing other teachers na kalaban, which is not really good. Dapat, we have to support them and cooperate kung ano man dapat gawin, lalo na sa naging part ka ng isang institution or sa isang school. Kasi you are working for the success of your students. No, you are not only working para maging successful ka sa trabaho mo, 'di ba? Na kailangan ikaw yung pinakamagaling na teacher dun sa school na yon. You are there for the students para maging successful sila. And you have to provide faith in one another. Dapat you are there to support at naniniwala ka sa mga estudyante mo na kayang-kaya nila maabot yung mga pangarap or yung mga goals and missions na meron sila in life. And for section 2, refrain from claiming credit or work not of his own and give due credit for the work of other which he may use. Best example dito ay yung mga researches na meron yung mga estudyante. You are not allowed to publish it unless you provide credit kung sino man yung mga estudyante na gumawa ng research na yun. Okay? Or lalo na pag may drawing yung isang estudyante sa sobrang ganda and you post it in social media without crediting the student. Diba, nun? It's unethical. So, hanggat maaari, we provide due credit kung sino man karapat dapat yung credit na yon. And organize and leave to his successor such records and other data as are necessary to carry on the work before leaving. Kaya, before mag-leave yung isang teachers or if ever manganak or nagkasakit, or kasi mga emergency yun eh, you as a teacher should be prepared enough para dun sa papalit sa'yo. Alam mo yun, pag, di ba, minsan may mga emergency na ganyan na kailangan ng papalit ni teacher, hindi naman pwedeng, ikaw, halimbawa, ikaw yung papalit ni teacher, you don't know what part of the lesson or kung ano yung dapat na i-focus of you as a new teacher, diba? So, dapat talaga may support dun sa first na teacher. Dapat prepared siya enough. The teacher and the teaching community. Section 4 shall keep confidential information concerning associates and the school and shall not divulge to any documents which has not been officially released or remove records from files without official permissions. Yun, dito talaga, you as a teacher, you are providing, dapat you respect each other's privacy at dapat sumusunod ka sa patakaran ng school nyo. Kung hindi ka naman assigned na magbigay ng cards or TOR ng mga students mo, of course, it's work of the registrar, you have no right to do so na ibibigay nyo lang, iaabot nyo yun. Kasi you have a responsibility of you as a teacher. You are there to teach and assess to students, diba? Kung hindi naman ikaw yung naka-assign dun sa mga files na yan, don't ever touch the files or wag mong ibigay kung sino man yung nag-request na yun. Wait for the instructions of the officials from your school. Seek correctiveness for what may appear to be an unprofessional and ethical conduct of any associate. However, if there is incontrovertible evidence for such a conduct, ayun, ano yung dapat mong gawin pag nahuli mo yung teacher mo na may ginagawang masama. Of course, you have to seek correctiveness. Dapat maitama yon, lalo na yung mga unethical conduct na ginagawa ng ibang associate ng school. And it should be with evidence. May ebidensya ka dapat. Kasi minsan sa hearsay lang, naririnig mo lang, it's not a good thing to do. Dapat meron kang mga ebidensya. Kasi ang kalalabasan nun, pag wala kang ebidensya, you are, sinisiraan mo lang yung kapwa teacher mo. And Section 6, submit to the proper authorities any justifiable criticism against an associate, preferably in writing, without violating any right of the individual concerned. Ayun, pag meron ka ng evidences na nakuha, you are there to submit to the proper authorities against, o mas maganda talaga, through writing. That's the safest way and without violating any right of the individual concerned. So, dapat, kung ano man yung binibigay mo or yung mga ebidensya mo, dapat it should not be violating dun sa right ng taong yun. Lalo na yung, alam mo yun, yung mga private talaga na files, bawal mo yung gamitin. You have to make sure na hindi ka nakaka-violate ng rights. And Section 7 may apply for a vacant position for which he is qualified, provided that he respects the system of selection on the basis of merit and competence, provided further that all qualified candidates are given the opportunity to be considered. Ayun, pag may application, mayroong promotion sa school, kung hindi ka man kuha doon sa promotion na yon, wag mong siraan or sasabihin niyan, politika kasi or somewhat like binayaran kasi or sip-sip, alam mo yung ganun. We have to respect kung ano man yung system of selection nila, lalo na they are using it for the basis of merit and competence. However, dapat talaga, it should be provided with justice naman talaga, diba? And everyone was given an opportunity to be considered. Kasi pag alam mo talaga na mostly nangyayari or before nangyari daw siya na para ma-promote, dapat magbigay ng isang sala set, ganyan, sa principal or whatever. Alam mo niyo yun, it's a no-no. Okay? Pwede mo yun na ireklamo. Lalo naman na may ebidensya ka naman na pwedeng ibigay. Article 6, the teacher and higher authorities and profession. For the Section 1, support the legitimate policies of the school administration regardless of personal feeling or private opinion and shall faithfully carry them out. Example nito guys is policies ng school administration. Kung nag-enter ka or nag-apply ka sa isang Catholic school tapos hindi ka Catholic, tapos may mga rules and policies na meron yung school na yon, lalo na yung lalo na religious na activities, you are there to support them and faithfully carry them out. Sumunod ka. Kasi, alam mo yon, nag-apply ka dun sa school na yun eh. And you know that it's a Catholic school. Tapos ngayon, alam mo yun, papasok ka dun tapos puro ka reklamo. That's unethical, okay? Dapat sumunod tayo. We need to do it faithfully. Section 2 shall not make any false accusation or charges against superiors, especially under anonymity. However, if there are valid charges, he should present such under oath to competent authority. Ayun, pag alam mo may mali yung superiors, no, and you have those evidences naman, dapat you should, yun yung time na tama na magreklamo ka. And it's not allowed na magreklamo ka tapos alam mo yun, tinatago mo yung pangalan mo or you're doing it anonymously. Kasi paano nila malalaman, di ba, kung valid ba talaga yung charges na yun? Kung yung tao naman na nagre-reklamo ay hindi naman nakikilala. So, that's unethical. Dapat magpakilala ka. You should be brave enough. Tapos, syempre, you will not be brave enough naman pag wala ka talagang evidences na ipapakita. And transact all official business through channels except one special condition warrants a different procedure. Basic steps in filing a complaint, guys. Bawal ka na si teacher, diretso ka sa DepEd secretary, mag-report ng problema, or pupunta ka ba sa division. Ganito dapat yung process. You start through writing, yun yung mas advisable talaga. Then send it to your subject coordinators, lalo na if it's academic matters. Then, dun sa principal. At pagkatapos yung principal na yung magdadala ng issue na yun or ng problem na yun dun sa division supervisor. And then, punta sa division superintendent to regional director hanggang sa DepEd secretary. So, there's a certain process. Bawal ka mag-take ng shortcuts. Except na lang if there's really problem dun sa, halimbawa, kung alam mo ang problema naman ay ang subject coordinator, so pwede ka to ask to the principal. Then we have the Article 6, the teacher and higher authorities in the profession for Section 4. Teacher has a right to seek redress against injustice to the administration and shall raise grievance within acceptable democratic processes and shall avoid jeopardizing the interests and welfare of learners whose right to learn must be respected. Kung alam mo may mga injustices doon sa administration talaga, kung may favoritism, someone like mas pinapaboran sila na bata, lalo na dito sa mga graduating students, diba? Napakahalaga na sa isang estudyante or sa isang family na maganda yung valedictorian yung anak nila or first honors kasi pag lilipat na sila ng school or magiging high school na sila or magiging college, mas mataas yung alam mo yun, 100% free tuition, diba? Yun yung hinahabol nila. Kung alam mo naman na yung isang bata ay mas magaling talaga, dapat ipaglaban mo na ang karapatan or yung meron dapat nakukuha yung bata. Kung naman siya yung first honor, dapat you are there to support them. Di ba nakikita natin yan sa mga kwento sa MMK or even sa mga movies na yung mga teachers talaga are there to support and to seek what is right and provide justice to the students. And Section 5, right to invoke the principle that appointments, promotions, and transfer of teachers are made only on the basis of merit and needed in the interest of the service. And of course, for Section 6, a teacher who accepts a position assumes a contractual obligation to live up to his contract, assuming full knowledge of employment terms and conditions. Kaya hindi ka lang basta-basta pipirma talaga ng kontrata. You have to read it and you should have a full knowledge dun sa mga terms and conditions. Kasi pag ikaw magreklamo or ikaw yung irereklamo, di mo alam kung saan ka nagkamali, di ba? Mas maganda yung you are knowledgeable enough already with the yung mga bagay na dapat na responsable ka. Procedures in the appointment and promotion sa teaching. Here are the related teaching and non-teaching position. So, una talaga, they will publish a vacant position. Tapos, i-announce nila vacant position and post at least 3 conspicuous places in the DepEd schools concerned for at least 15 working days. Tapos, mag-list sila na applicants nila, magko-conduct ng preliminary evaluation sa mga qualification ng lahat na aplikante. Then, prepare selection line-up that shall reflect the qualifications of all applicants, and then post in 3 conspicuous places for at least 15 calendar days. Tapos indicate nila yung date of posting nila, and notify all applicants for the outcome of the preliminary evaluation. Submit the selection lineup to the personal selection board for deliberation. Tapos conduct a further assessment. It could be through written exam, skills test, and interview and others, and submit to the appointing authority the short list of 5 ranking candidates. Diba? Sobrang tagal talaga magpa-ranking, lalo na sa public school. Anyways, you'll experience it once you are in the field. And I know, and I believe that one of you or most of you ay magiging successful in terms of teaching someday. So ito yung composition ng personal selection board. We have the chairperson. It's the assistant schools division superintendent. Siya talaga yung pinaka-humahawak ng na yan in terms of promotion. Tapos yung mga members, secondary level, yung chairperson is a principal or the school head. Tapos sa non-teaching naman, it's also the principal. Article 7, school officials, teachers, and other personnel. School officials and his subordinates at all times showed professional courtesy, helpfulness, and sympathy towards teachers and other personnel. Dapat pinapakita mo din sila ng tinutulungan mo sila. And you know how they feel like, diba? Dapat you are there to give them some advice or inspiration. I remember before when I was my first year of teaching, para alam mo yun, dumating sa point na patapos na siguro yung year. I felt like ayoko nang magturo sa for the second year kasi gano'n, nakakapagod pala maging teacher. But then I had those teachers na mas nakakatanda. They give me advice na ganun talaga yan pag unang pag mga first years of teaching mo, you will feel that. But darating yung time na makikita mo yung estudyante mo na sobrang nag-improve or naging successful. Alam mo yun, mamahalin mo talaga yung pagtuturo. Section 3, school officials shall encourage and attend the professional growth of all teachers and recommend them for promotion, giving them due recognition for meritorious performance and allowing them to participate in conferences in training programs. Yun, pag official ka or maging administrator ka sa school, dapat you are there na i-support mo talaga yung mga teachers mo, lalo na pag for their professional growth. Kung gusto nilang mag-aral ng masteral and they're not available every Saturday, diba? You are there to give them support. Tapos i-recommend mo sila for promotion and give them recognition. Kasi it's not only the students na kailangan ng appreciation or recognition. Even the teachers also. This article, how will the state ensure that teaching will attract and retain its rightful share of the best available talents? Yun, paano daw natin makikisiguro na nakukuha talaga natin yung best of bests? Diba? Alam mo yung may mga talent talaga in terms of change. My answer is through adequate remuneration and other means of job satisfaction and fulfillment. O diba, kayo bilang parte na ng education department, we know and we believe na isa kayo sa mga magagaling na estudyante kasi meron talaga na specific grade, lalo na pag ito is magti-take kayo someday pag graduate na kayo ng board exam. Kaya hindi lang siya talaga basta-basta na course. And I'm glad that you become part of the group. Kasi, ibig sabihin, baka tinatawag talaga kayo dito sa field or sa teaching profession. Alright, Section 4, no school official shall dismiss or recommend for dismissal a teacher or other subordinates except for a cause. So, hindi porket ikaw yung principal, tapos feeling mo, ayoko dito sa teacher na to kasi parang negative yung aura or whatsoever, diba? Dapat meron kang specific na reason. Tapos dapat ito ay valid. Kaya ikaw pag maging teacher ka, tapos Kung alam mo naman na tama naman yung ginawa mo, you have the right to stay dun sa school. And yung superior or officials na yon, they don't have the right. That's unethical kung papaalisin ka nila ng wala man lang karason-rason. And for Section 5, public school teachers are employed in accordance with pertinent civil service rules if qualified, subsequent permanent tenure in accordance with existing laws, and provide further that they are duly registered and licensed professionals. So, ito yung mga references, guys. And for the websites, for Article 7, the teacher and the learners muna. So, ano yung dapat gawin or responsibility ng isang teacher sa kanyang mga estudyante. For Section 1, a teacher has a right and duty to determine the academic marks and the promotion of learners in the subject they handle. Siyempre, sino pa bang mag-consider kung nakakapasa yung bata or hindi? Kundi ang isang teacher lang talaga. Kasi siya yung nakakaalam kung namamaster or ma-expertise na ba yung estudyante. And then for Section 2, by the way, for Section 1, yung teacher has the right and duty na mag-determine academic marks. Hindi pwede na ang parents ang magde-determine kung ang bata ba ay kailangang ipasa o hindi. There are certain situations before talaga na, or even in the future nowadays, may mga, pag mababa yung estudyante sa subject na to. I had this experience before. I taught ng math subject sa mga students sa elementary, sa grade 2. And I have this transfer student. Tapos, I provided, I think, ang grade ng bata is mataas pa nga mga 94. Tapos, yung parents nagreklamo, bakit ganito lang yung grade ng bata? Dapat mataas daw yung ibibigay na grade kasi kilala niya yung anak niya. And yung anak daw niya ay sobrang galing na ng math, even nagpapa-tutor pa nga daw. Tapos, do you think that parent has the right na magdesisyon kung ano ba talaga yung grade ng bata? Of course not. Tandaan natin to yung Section 1 na to ng Article 8 na ang teacher lang talaga, lalo na yung subject teacher, ang magde-determine kung ano yung grade ng bata. So, hindi dapat tayo nadadala sa mga takot or even sa mga higher authorities para lang baguhin yung grade ng bata. For Section 2, yung interest and welfare of learners are of first and foremost concern and shall deal justifiably and impartially with each of them. Yun. Pag teacher, you have to consider each of them. Imagine pag may 50 students ka inside the classroom, ano yung dapat mong gagawin? Pipili ka lang ba ng mga estudyante kung sino na yung magagaling? Or you have to focus dun sa bawat isang bata. Kaya ang pinaka magandang standard talaga, if you'll be a teacher, dapat i-consider mo din yung number of students inside the classroom. Kasi pag teacher nga naman, dapat alam mo yung kapasidad mo na kaya mo bang i-handle yung mga students na to. Okay? Individually. At yung students dapat, yung interest at welfare, ang una mo, first and foremost na concern. Minsan, kasi sa sobrang dami ng ginagawa ng teachers at sobrang dami na kailangang ipasa, nalilimutan na din yung dapat gawin. Lalo na sa K-12, diba, sa DepEd. Marami din talagang ginagawa. And there are certain programs na dapat sasalihan. But we have to remember na dapat inuuna talaga yung mga estudyante. Let's talk naman dun sa Section 3. Under no circumstance shall a teacher be prejudiced or discriminate against a learner. Ayun, this is a good section din kasi for protection din dun sa teacher na hindi dapat nag-judge agad. Kasi alam mo yung hindi lang naman din to sa student or even sa teacher. We are persons din naman, 'di ba? We have feelings and we are imperfect, but it doesn't mean na yung ibang tao, lalo na yung estudyante, ay may karapatan na na prejudice no isang teacher na may misjudge mo as, yung teacher na yan, kilala namin yan dati, wala namang yan, parang hindi nagtuturo or whatsoever, or di naman magaling yan. Under no circumstances, dapat hindi ganun tinatrato ang isang teacher. Okay? Tapos, hindi dapat sila din discriminate ng kanilang mga students. One thing, guys, na gusto ko ding i-address sa inyo, lalo na ngayon na pandemic, we all know or naririnig din natin sa mga balita or even sa Facebook na there are some of parents or even students na nagpo-post sa social media just to discriminate kung sino yung mga teachers or kung sino may yung gumawa ng mga module nila. You know what, guys? We have to remember na teachers have feelings too at hindi sila perfect, or even us, we're not perfect, or kung dumating man yung panahon na maging teacher kayo in the future, you will experience the same. Alam mo yung taas masyado na expectation, but for yung module issues nowadays, dapat talaga pag once na may problem, 'di ba, ang isang module, dapat direct sa teacher. You can ask questions or address them on what happened. Hindi yung papamahiya mo pa yung yung teacher mo dun sa online. Which is can be done naman siguro respectfully, 'di ba? So, pag naging teachers na kayo, tandaan nyo na may rights din kayo na dapat to be respected. Okay? For Section 4, shall not accept favors or gifts from learners, their parents or others in their behalf in exchange for requested concessions, especially if undeserved. Ayun, hindi dapat tayo nag-a-accept ng mga gifts just or even sa parents in behalf yun. Kung merong kapalit, 'di ba, na request, lalo na pag hindi mo naman deserve yung gift na yun. Kasi sometimes, sa totoong buhay naman talaga, 'di ba, you students, or even me when I was still a student, even give gifts din dun sa mga teachers na alam ko talaga na who did their job well, tapos did something for you. Pero pag bawal talaga yun, pag halimbawa binibigyan mo ng gift si teacher para ikaw yung first honors, or dapat ikaw yung nakukuha ng award na yon, so pinagbabawal yon. Okay? If ever it happened to you when you will be a teacher, pag yung mga co-teachers mo na napapansin mo na ganun, dapat ay pagsabihan, or we have to inform them that it's not good, or we discussed din naman before kung ano ba talaga yung kailangan gawin or step-by-step procedure in terms of complaining someone. And then, we have here a sample case, guys, for this section 2 and 3. May a principal of a public high school refuse the enrollment of a student due to sex, ethnic grouping, or religion of the child or his parents? So, may karapatan ba ang principal ay mamimili kung sino lang yung papasukin sa school or i-accept? The answer is no. Kasi, because such refusal will violate the right of the students to have quality education as provided in Section 1, Article 14 of the 1987 Constitution, and it will also violate his constitutional right to be accorded equal protection of the laws guaranteed under Section 1, Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution to all Filipino citizens. Okay, so this is an example of a case, guys, na kung saan halimbawa ang isang principal ay nirereklamo sa korte kasi nagkaroon ng bias or hindi niya tinanggap yung isang estudyante. So, ito yung commonly na magiging kaso kasi nasa batas talaga sa Section 1 Article 15 ng 1987 Constitution na kailangang i-accept talaga yung lahat ng estudyante and it's education for all. Wala tayo dapat na pinipili just because kaya I provide example guys sa isang Catholic school. We know naman siguro na yung most of their subjects, may mga Catholic subjects sila. Tapos even yung mga activities, may Catholic, more on Catholic din. I had these students before na born again siya. Tapos nag-enter siya dun sa Catholic school na yon. So what will happen? Ang mangyayari dun is kung ang principal hindi niya tatanggihan yung estudyante, pwede siyang mairereklamo nun. But then, nasa usapan din yun. And as a students, diba, alam mo naman siguro na once you enter such institution, lalo na pag school, is kailangan mong mag-follow ng rules and regulation. But then, yung school din, kailangan ding respeto yung mga paniniwala ng isang estudyante. For example, di mo naman siya pipilitin na mag-sign of the cross talaga to follow the rules, diba? Bawal talaga yon. I'll give you another example din, a case, guys. There was a time na yung isang teacher, narereklamo siya ng estudyante kasi nga, pinipilit siya na mag-attend ng flag ceremony. Tapos, syempre yung bata ayaw daw kasi bawal daw talaga sa paniniwala nila yon. But of course, yung teacher, dahil hindi siya aware ng specific yung sector na yon or kung ano mang paniniwala ng estudyante na yon, na bawal talaga sila na mag-attend ng mga flag ceremony. So what happened? Pinilit talaga yung bata kasi dapat rules and regulation nga daw, and then as part of the school, you have to follow yung paano man yung pinapagawa ng teacher. But then, anong nangyari? Diba? Kaso, kinasuhan yung teacher. Ayun. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, guys, na alam natin lahat. We have to ask questions, lalo na sa students, kung ano man yung specific na paniniwala nila. Okay? I have here another example, guys. Mr. P of Bulobundukin High School refused to admit a student for not being a resident of the said barangay where the school is located. Is it legal? Do you think ba accepted naman? Siyempre, kung isang bata naman, hindi naman part ng barangay, di ba? Legal ba yun kung hinihindian siya ng principal? So, anong dapat talaga na mangyari? Of course not, guys. It's not legal because such refusal will violate the constitutional right of the child to have a quality education. That's what we said as EFA or EFA, Education for All. Wala ka dapat na pinipili, or you have to give all the children or students the right to be part to receive a quality education. But reality check, guys, ang nangyayari talaga pag ganito is kung sobrang dami ng estudyante sa school, diba? Kailangan mag-inform din talaga ng maaga kung puno na yung slot. Or most of the time, or most of the school, what they do is nagbibigay sila ng assessment. Nagpapabigay sila ng entrance exam to make sure talaga kung ang bata ay nakakapasa, but at least they provided yung opportunity para makapasok din yung bata. But if it's not, kung hindi naman siya papalarin, why not, diba? There's still other schools naman na pwede nilang mapasukan. And another thing, pag limbawa puno na yung slot pala sa isang school, you as a teacher or even as a principal, para mabigyan mo din ng education yung bata, you can recommend the students to other schools like, dito sa school na to, I know na pwede pa kayong mag-enter. Alam mo yung ganun, you still have to do something para mabigyan talaga ng quality education ng bata. Kasi sometimes as teachers, we could make a difference. Sometimes we can build a world for them. Natutulungan mo sila to build a world. But sometimes, we could be the reason while the world will be destroyed. Kaya dapat careful tayo sa lahat ng ginagawa natin. And lalo na pag ganito, I know you know the feeling naman siguro pag hindi nakakapasok sa isang school, diba? So there are lots of choices na din naman. But still, yung school dapat na yun na gusto mong pasukan, I will provide opportunity for all. Even UP, diba? Or other na sikat na mga school, may mga entrance exam talaga sila. To make sure na mabibigyan talaga ng quality education yung mga estudyante na nakakapasa. Another sample case, Mr. L, a principal of Masambahin Elementary School, limited enrollment to 60 pupils per classroom and gave priority to residents over the non-residents of the barangay. Is it valid and acceptable? So, ano sa tingin nyo, guys? The answer is yes. Because limiting the enrollment is in the consonance with DepEd Order number 32, series of 2003, provided that the principal will give assistance to the student to enroll in nearby school so as not to deprive him of his right to education. So ito yung sinabi ko earlier na dapat hindi siya din, alam mo yung kung hindi naman siya na-accept or na-reject man siya, but it doesn't mean na i-deprive mo yung bata ng education. You have to do something, okay? And this is what I actually love the most, or even sometimes nalilito din talaga ako na sa mga batas, diba? There are lots of things to be considered. Hindi ibig sabihin na bawal magtanggi ng estudyante ay palaging ganon. May mga batas din na sinasabi na pwedeng gawin yon as long as, for example, ito, kailangan may limitation ang isang classroom. Kasi diba, mahirap naman talaga to provide quality education if there are lots of students. And how are you going to consider them individually? Or paano mo naman matutukan yung pagtuturo mo kung sobrang dami ng estudyante, okay? And let's continue. For section 5, teachers shall not accept directly or indirectly any remuneration from tutorials other what is authorized for such service. Ayun, lalo na pag ikaw yung subject teacher. Kung ikaw naman yung subject teacher, where you're going to provide tutorial services, ito yung tutorial na may binabayad yung estudyante sa'yo. But if it's a type of alam mo yun, yung after classes, tinuturuan mo yung bata to cope up, pwede yun. But accepting, guys, na money or even asking the parent to tutor the student with payment, bawal yun, okay? And evaluation for section 6, evaluation of the learner must be based on work only in merit and quality of academic performance. Alright, it should be on academic performance once you evaluate the learner, not on your feelings or hindi lang sa hinungulaan mo yung grade ng bata. Or, ay, itong batang to, favorite ko to. Dapat ito yung mataas na grade. So, that's a no-no. Dapat nating tandaan dito sa section 6 ng article 8 na evaluation ng bata ay dapat nag-base lang sa academic performance. Ayun, di ba? Sobrang daming batas in terms of providing grades sa bata. Bawal talaga na babayaran lang. And kaya yung mga parents talaga, may rights din silang magreklamo lalo na pag alam nila kung marunong naman talaga yung bata and there's a certain issue then regarding with you and the student. So, wag natin yung pairalin yung galit natin sa mga future students natin even if alam natin na kinaayawan natin sila or kinakainisan. Because you as a teacher, you are there for them to facilitate them to become better. And section 7, where mutual attraction and subsequent love develop between teacher and learner, the teacher shall exercise utmost professional discretion to avoid scandal, gossip, and preferential treatment of the learner. Ayun. So, ayan, sasagot na din yung tanong nyo kung bawal ba talaga nagkakaroon ng relationship ang isang teacher or at saka student. So, ano sa tingin niyo ang sagot, guys? There's actually no specific batas naman na totally nagsasabing bawal. Dito sa Section 7 na to ng Article 8, ang sinasabi lang ay if there's a subsequent love naman talaga or mutual attraction between the teacher and the learner, dapat yung teacher shall exercise utmost professional. So, you still have to be professional. Kaya, alam niyo yun, as much as possible talaga, ay wag na lang. Kasi, you know how it, ayun, marami talaga nakakapansin or you as a teacher, alam mo na marami expectation ng tao. Yun yung sinasabi na demands ng society sa mga teacher. But it doesn't mean naman talaga na pag nagkaroon ka ng relasyon ay nakukulong ka na agad. Okay? But if there's a certain naman na they were able to, or yung teacher naman ay exercise ng utmost professional discretion para walang scandal. So, it's okay. I'll give an example, guys, or maybe mamimit natin siya for the next chapters. Yung isang case ng isang teacher. Yun DepEd yun. Yung high school. Tsaka yung teacher tsaka yung student na relationship. Yun talaga ay naparating sa korte. But in the end, na-cancel din. Konti lang talaga yung ebidensya na nakita. And then, yung teacher naman ay exercise ng utmost professionalism. Okay? And we have the Article 8 for Section 8. Yung teacher shall not inflict corporal punishment on offending learners nor make deductions from their scholastic ratings as a punishment for acts which are clearly not manifestation of poor scholarship. Ayun. Ito yung mabigat, diba? We know nowadays na bawal na talaga na nananakit yung isang teacher or yung tinatawag na corporal punishment, yung physical na pananakit na isang teacher kasi nagkakaroon ng kaso agad. Kahit nga yung, alam mo yun, best of teachers, like yung matatanda, once they did something wrong or pinalabas lang yung bata tapos irereklamo, di ba napapanood naman siguro natin yan sa Tulfo na sobrang galing ng teacher after so many years of serving the school, tapos dahil lang doon sa certain thing na nangyari na pinalabas yung estudyante, ay kinasawhan na siya or pinahiya na. And there are lots of people din na nag-judge agad doon sa teacher. Kasi sinasabi na nasaktan daw yung bata emotionally, na-traumatize, alam mo yun, sobrang kawawa yung isang teacher. Kaya ang hirap na talaga ngayon na i-discipline yung mga estudyante. Kasi konting kibot lang, reklamo, diba? But still, if we really wanted to be a teacher, that's one of the challenges that we need to face. But it doesn't mean na mahirap na pagiging teacher, because once you have to do it by heart, nothing would be impossible. Okay? Next, teacher, and this one pala guys, dito sa Article 8 ng Section 8, bawal ka na mamaynusan mo yung estudyante. Bawal mo bigyan ng deduction yung isang estudyante just because nagkamali siya at hindi naman talaga related dun sa academic performance niya. And you don't have the right na porket may kasalanan yung isang bata, it doesn't mean na yung school ay may right na aalisin siya sa first honors kung mataas naman talaga yung grade ng estudyante. For Article 8, Section 9, a teacher shall ensure that conditions contribute to the maximum development of learners are adequate and shall extend needed assistance in preventing or solving learner problems and difficulties. Maximum development of learners. Kasi part naman talaga na responsibility ng teacher is to maximize or to showcase kung ano man talaga yung potential ng isang bata. Kaya, before, I have this student na yung mga bata din, grade 1, yung isang estudyante doon na transferee ay sobrang galing, sobrang talino talaga niya. And then, minsan, nabuboring siya sa klase kasi nga, anong paulit lang yung alam na ma-master na niya yung topic na yon. Tapos, tinuturo pa lang ng teacher sa mga kaklase na. So, what I did, or you can also do it next time when you become a teacher, is bibigyan mo siya ng other activities para hindi siya naboboard and you could maximize yung learning ng bata. Kasi pag hahayaan mo lang yung estudyanteng yun, anong natutunan niya sa'yo? Even if that student is good enough or sobrang galing niya sa klase, doesn't mean na di na siya or bawal na siyang matuto. It's part of your responsibility ng teacher na bigyan mo or ma-maximize yung ability ng estudyante. Article 9, the teachers and parents. Guys, ito yung mahirap sa part ng isang teacher. Kasi hindi lang yung learners ay consider mo, even yung parents. You should have a good relationship din sa kanila para matulungan mo yung mga estudyante. Okay? For section 1, establish and maintain cordial relations with parents and shall conduct himself to merit their confidence and respect. Kaya kailangan natin i-develop yung interpersonal skills natin sa pakikipag-usap sa mga parents. Kasi sila talaga yung pinaka may concern sa mga anak nila. And you are team. Hindi kayo magkalaban. You are there to help each other for the success and development of the student. Okay? And section 2 shall inform the parents through proper authorities of the progress and deficiencies of learner under him, exercising utmost candor and tact in pointing out the learner's deficiencies. Ito, mahalaga din to guys, na paano mo i-address sa isang parent na may mali or nahihirapan yung isang estudyante sa subject mo. Lalo na pag alam naman ng parent sa tingin niya na sobrang galing nung bata. Tapos sa end mo naman as a teacher, hindi naman siya ganun kagalingan, lalo na sa mga activities or sobrang bagsak naman dun sa exam, diba? Kaya tinatago talaga yung examination papers para may basihan kung paano mo binigyan ng grade yung isang estudyante. And we have to be careful dito sa pagpuna kung ano man yung kakulangan ng isang estudyante. Kasi most of the parents will not accept it. Kahit nga yung diba? We know in ourselves naman na nangyari din sa atin before na may kaklase tayo na sobrang kulit talaga sa classroom. Pero pag sa bahay, sobrang bait. Kaya pag ang teacher, sasabihin, yung anak niyo po ay hindi nakikinig sa klase. Tapos yung parent, hindi po ma'am, bakit ganun? Kasi yung sobrang bait ng anak ko ngayon sa bahay. Kaya yung iba talaga ang ginagawa pag hindi talaga naniniwala yung teacher is they film nung bata kung ano yung ginagawa. But you have to inform the parent pag ganun yung nangyari. Kasi we have to be careful din sa pag-film ng mga minors. Okay? A teacher shall hear parent complaints with sympathy and understanding and shall discourage unfair criticism. Pag nagre-reklamo yung parent, sa kwento ko nga kanina, diba, doon sa math na subject, what I did, mahirap talaga to sabihin mo yung parent kung bakit ganun yung grade ng bata. But I just showed her yung sa mga activities niya, yung sa class record, yung grade ng bata, para makita niya kung ano ba talaga yung performance ng anak niya. Kasi, alam mo naman siguro ang feeling, di ba? As a parent din, kailangan intindihin mo din na parent sila, gusto nilang maging maganda or mabigyan kung ano man yung deserve ng mga anak nila. Okay? For Article 10, the teacher and the business. For Section 1, may batas naman dito guys na a teacher has the right to engage or directly or indirectly in legitimate income generation provided that it does not relate to or adversely affect his work as a teacher. Yun, hindi pwedeng lahat na lang business yung buhay mo. Kailangan din mag-focus ka or prioridad mo talaga yung pagtuturo mo. And then Section 2, maintain a good reputation with respect to financial matters with respect to such in the settlement of his debts and loans in arranging satisfactorily his private financial affairs. Kasi nakakahiya naman yun pag part ka ng isang institution or isang school, tapos may issue ka na nangungutang or sobrang laki ng loans mo, tapos hindi mo binabayaran, di ba? Kaya kailangan natin talaga i-maintain yung dignidad as a teacher, lalo na pag sa financial matters na. The teacher and the business. Section 3, no teacher shall act directly or indirectly as agent of or be financially interested in any commercial venture which furnish textbooks and other school commodities in the purchase and disposal of which he can exercise official influence except only when his assignment is inherently related to such purchase and disposal, provided they shall be in accordance with the existing regulations, provided further that members of duly recognized teachers cooperatives may participate in the distribution and sale of commodities. Pag may, kasi maraming mga publishing houses naman, di ba? And most of the time, ang ginagawa nila ay nagpapabango sila dun sa administrator ng schools or even to the teachers para sila yung pipiliin ng isang school. So, pag teacher ka, as much as possible, dapat wala kang magiging connection dun sa mga publishing house. Kahit bayaran ka pa nila ng malaki, para lang na i-offer dun sa school yung libro nila. Kasi, that's a no-no. Kasi nagkakaroon ng bias. At hindi natin sure talaga yung quality ng books na ino-offer ng publishing house na yun. Kaya, if you, in terms dito sa business, tapos more on educational, we have to be careful. Pero kung assign ka naman doon, in-assign ka ng school na para mamili ng books, you can go for it. But, dapat wala kang connection wherein babayaran ka nila para lang gawin ang gusto nilang gawin in terms sa pagpipili ng books. The teacher as a person, anong kailangan natin gawin to make sure na nami-maintain natin yung dignity natin as a person. For Section 1, highest obligation to live with dignity in all places at all times. Ayun, all places at all times daw guys, yung obligasyon na yan. And then Section 2, self-respect and self-discipline as a principle of personal behavior in all relationships with others and in all situations. Yan. Lalo na pag may mga issue, huwag tayong gumawa ng scandal or makikipag-gulo. We have to show self-respect and discipline. Maintain at all times a dignified personality which could serve as a model worthy of emulation by learners, peers, and all others. Section 4, always recognize the Almighty God as guide of His own destiny and of the destinies of men and nations. Mahirap nga naman kung feeling mo pag naging teacher ka na, tapos ang mindset mo is ikaw yung dahilan kung ba't napunta, or ikaw yung magiging dahilan kung saan na tinatadhana yung isang estudyante or even other people. We have to be humble enough that we are just dependent on God. Okay? Article 12, disciplinary actions. Section 1, Ito yung any provision of this code shall be sufficient ground for the imposition against the erring teacher of the disciplinary action consisting of revocation of his certification of registration and license as professional teacher, minsan din suspension dun sa practice niya of teaching profession, or reprimand or cancellations of his temporary or special permit. Pag hindi natin nagawa kung ano man yung mga bagay na dapat nating gawin. But this is what I like naman pag sa mga institutions, lalo na sa education na field, guys. Although uso talaga ngayon na lagi nireklamo yung teacher, but kung kayo yung nasa authority or part kayo dun sa school na yon, you have to protect at all cost din yung member mo na teacher, okay? And I will wanted to share to you yung nangyari dun sa isang principal before. I love the way she said na alam niya sa sarili niya na maling-mali yung ginawa ng teacher niya dun sa isang student. Tapos yung time na nagrereklamo na yung parent dun sa principal, ang ginawa ng principal ay she was able to sympathize and understand the feelings nung ng parent na yun. But then, siya as a principal, she really did her best to protect yung teacher niya and to defend her also. Although, may pagkakamali din talaga. Kasi, you are part of the Constitution. Ang nangyayari, pag ang isang teacher ay narereklamo, what will happen kung ikaw mismo, diba, as administrator, you are not protecting yung mga constituents mo or kung sino may yung mga teachers mo. Dapat there should be a balance between the teacher and even the teacher herself. And effectivity nito, guys, this code shall take effect upon approval of the Professional Regulation Commission and after 60 days following its publication in the official gazette or any newspaper of general circulation, whichever is earlier. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. God bless you.